Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. I just changed my mic to headphones. So again, good afternoon, Capimilias. We're already on the 7th session of the Coffee Break webinar series, Breakthroughs on Research and Extension for the Advancement of Knowledge of Stakeholders. I am JP, your moderator for this session and from the past sessions, and hopefully till the end. Unang-una po, we would like to thank you for staying with us up to this far. Thank you all for staying. And for those who are first time to attend, thank you po. At finally, we discover, sinagot nyo na ang calling namin. Don't worry because you're just on time. Welcome po. And kahit ngayon lang tayo nagka-encounter, we assure you that we still have more to offer. If you want to connect with us or partner with us, you might contact us through the following contact details flashed on your screens. For concerns, reach us through our mobile number 0975-420-5789 or through our email addresses, the first one being ncrdec@cbsu.edu.ph or ncrdec.cbsu@gmail.com, and if it's a webinar related concern, ncrdec.webser@gmail.com. We also have our Facebook page and Instagram account where you can be updated on our activities, schedules, announcements, and many more. Just follow us on our activities. Just follow us at NCRDEC Philippines on Facebook and NCRDEC PH on Instagram. We also have our YouTube channel, NCRDEC TV. There we'll be uploading videos on the things that we do. Uploaded there also were student-produced documentaries and our previously recorded webinar sessions. Among this was the first webinar session entitled Characterization and Identification of Cultivated Coffee in the Philippines, held last July 30. The second webinar session was entitled Building Up the Chemistry, Investigating the Science Behind Coffee Processing, held last August 20. Our third webinar session, there you go, Declaration, Communicating Coffee Products Through Branding and Packaging, held last August 27. In our fourth webinar session, Courtship, Pursuing Viable Coffee Business Ventures, held last September 3. While the fifth session, entitled Meet the Parents, Tracing the Roots of Philippine Coffee, led by Ms. Bel S. Castro, and the sixth session, entitled Nurturing the Connection, Growing Coffee Through Various Propagation Methods, led by Mr. Rodrigo H. Deloy, which were all uploaded on our Facebook page. That's it for our initial plugs. And to formally begin the session, allow me to welcome you all to the seventh session entitled Time for Labels, Accreditation and Certification of Coffee Nurseries. But first, to grace our event this afternoon, let's take a moment of silence and have our prayer.
Oh Lord, sometimes my insides feel like a battle zone where missiles are falling too close to home. Other times, I'm caught in an endless storm with thoughts flying out of control. Confusion reigns and defeat creeps in to steal my joy. I need your peace, the deep down in your heart kind that stays with me day and night and speaks confidently into the wind. Calm my anxious spirit, Lord. All the attacking if-onlys and what-ifs fill me with needless worry. I know that trust is a big part of experiencing peace, and that fear has no place in my life. Most of the things I worry about or dread don't even happen. So I'm declaring my trust in you. I'm releasing the reins of my life again and asking you to take control. I may need to pray the same prayer daily, but I'm tired of the frenzy of life that leaves my schedule and my thoughts without any margin. I need more of you, Lord, and less of me. I surrender and admit I can't control people, plans, or even all my circumstances, but I can yield those things to you and focus on your goodness. Thank you today for every good gift you've given, every blessing you've sent, all the forgiveness I did not deserve, and yes, for every trial you've allowed into my life. You bring good out of every circumstance if I'll only let go and believe you. I know that when I pray and give thanks instead of worrying, you have promised that I can experience the kind of peace that passes all understanding. That's your kind of peace, Lord, and it's the kind I crave. Whenever I'm stressed, anxious, or afraid, help me remember to run to you. You're the only one that can calm my fears and end my fretful behavior. Whether in trivial or heavy matters, I know you will not only give me peace, Lord, you will be my peace. And when I draw close to you in prayer, in reading your word, in helping another, in taking my mind off myself, you will be there, up close and personal. I can't handle these times alone, Lord. Will you speak peace and calm my storms, or hold my hand while we walk through them together? Will you bring the reassuring wisdom of those who have come through similar times into my life? Thank you, Lord. I'm trusting you. In the name of the one who makes the wind and the waves stand still, Amen.
So, kumusta po ang lahat? Kumusta po? Okay
Good
lang naman?
afternoon. Kumusta din po sa atin lahat? Danny
Okay
from
po.
BPI.
Good afternoon po, Sir Danny.
Yes,
Sa aming mga
thank you.
participants.
Good afternoon, Sir TJ. JP pala.
Okay lang yun, sir. And later, meron pa tayong isang speaker pa dyan. Yeah, I see. Okay. Again, from the previous happenings, I'm pretty sure po na hindi man tayo naka-cope up 100%, pero unti-unti, we are trying to be better each day. It's like having a hot coffee. We'll eventually know the time when the level of our warmth is tolerable for us, ready to enjoy our good cup of coffee. And before we get too emotional, I'm gonna give you first this few reminders. First and foremost, since the session is happening real time, technical glitches might occur which are beyond our control. We would highly appreciate your utmost understanding and patience. Please be informed that this webinar session is being recorded and streamed via Facebook Live. So hello there also to our Facebook friends. The third one, a replay of this session will be uploaded on our YouTube channel at NCR Deck TV. Questions will be entertained at the end of the lecture after a quick break. But still, you are allowed to raise your questions while the lecture is ongoing. Just send them through the chat box for our Zoom meeting attendees and in the comment section for our Facebook Live audience. Our time is limited for the question and answer, so make sure to make use of that time to ask for your queries to our resource speakers. Yes po, you have that right. We'll have 2 speakers this afternoon. Apologies to our Facebook Live viewers, but only the attendees who joined via Zoom meeting will be provided with a certificate of participation, unless, of course, conditions are favorable. Here are additional house rules for our Zoom meeting attendees. That's you guys. First, we will be disabling the audio and video of the participants other than the speaker and yours truly. Please ensure that your audio and video is disabled at all times unless necessary. Second, there will be a short break after the lecture. Third, you may utilize the chat box to raise questions and concerns. You can also message us if you like to personally ask your question to our speakers later. The fourth, a direct message feature can be found in the chat box settings if you are to address your concern to a fellow attendee. Fifth, the certificate of participation shall be received upon the submission of the evaluation form. Hintayin lang po natin because we will be providing the link for the evaluation at the latter part of this session. And sixth, and the last, if you are able to attend the 9 sessions, we would be gladly and gratefully provide you with a certificate of completion. That's it for our reminders. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our first speaker for today. Our first speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Botany from the Far Eastern University in Manila. He has been serving the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Plant Industry for 41 years already and has worked in the research division of BPI as an executive assistant to the assistant director and director of BPI. At present, he works as the Agricultural Center Chief 3 of DA BPI and the head of the Plant Material Certification Section, National Seed Quality Control Services under the said agency. Dear attendees, let us all welcome Mr. Danilo T. Danub. Let's give him a round of virtual applause.
Yes. Yes, good afternoon sa ating lahat. Yes, good afternoon sa ating lahat. Sir JP, good afternoon. So sa ating lahat, yung mga magkakape, at maganda nga itong ating discussion at coffee break. So yung ating discussion this afternoon is one of the regulatory functions of the Bureau of Plant Industry, National Seed Quality Control Services. Very important po ito kasi sabi natin, yung ating produkto nagagaling sa high quality produce, pero isipin natin, nanggaling din ito sa quality planting material. So paano natin malalaman na ito yung quality planting material? Sa mga magkakape, alam natin maraming mga nurseries, plant nurseries ng coffee na nagpo-produce, pero ang tanong natin doon is, eto ba yung bang nabibili ng mga farmers quality? Ibig sabihin, eto ba kung ano ba natin gusto ba yung prototype of the variety. Kasi very important po yun. At the same time, eto bang seedling na ito it passed through the evaluation, inspection, para ito malagyan ng tag as certified. So, yung role po ng Bureau of Plant Industry, National Seed Quality Control Services, is to make sure that the planting material that is being bought by the farmers is of quality. So, yun po yung ating objective. So, this afternoon, we will be discussing, of course, from the Bureau of Plant Industry and SQCS, yung dalawang very important programs, and this is the Plant Nursery Accreditation and Plant Material Certification. So, kung mabigyan po kami ng pagkakataon na mai-discuss ito kasi ito po, tamang-tama po sa ating coffee break, bago po yung ating guideline. So, I hope na after this lecture, malaman na natin o malaman po ng ating mga participants na meron palang ganong programa ang DA, ang Bureau of Plant Industry, na dapat ang bibilhin ko ganitong klase. Yun po yun. Yun yung pinaka-objective natin ngayong hapon. So ngayon po, I will be presenting yung ating guideline ng Plant Nursery Accreditation. Later on, may kadugtong po yung Plant Material Certification kasi dalawang programa po ito. Yung nursery accreditation is to look into the kind of nursery na dapat ma-accredit. Ano ba yung mga requirements? Ano pa yung mga document? Ganun. And the second part is to certify yung mother trees and yung planting material. So, without much ado, Sir JP, I will be presenting the guideline. Okay? Okay, so Sir JP, kita na ninyo ng ating yung ating slides.
Yes, sir. Clearly
Okay.
po.
Okay, so ito na po yung ating bagong Department Circular number 1 series of 2020. Ibig sabihin, sir, ito newly approved by the Secretary of Agriculture. Kasi before, meron tayo yung AO25, pero dati kasi nandun sa production division, but then middle part of 2019 napunta na po sa National Seed Quality Control Services dahil this is a regulatory function. Okay. So, kung mapapansin po ninyo, number 1, ibig sabihin, pinirmahan niyang Department Circular noong 2020. So, the subject is guidelines on the nursery operators and their nurseries. If I remember right, we were also invited 2 years ago na nag-present din po ng paper dyan sa KABSU regarding ito pong mga programa natin. So, I think this is the second time na magpe-present tayo, pero bagong guideline po ito. So, bagong-bago siya. Okay. Ayaw. Pwede na. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so yung ating guidelines, meron po yung mga sections. So ang section number 1 is coverage. So yung coverage po ng ating nurseries producing, ito po, maliwanag po na National Seed Industry Council registered variety and strains. And also, ito po, kung makipapansin natin yung mga na issue na mga plate tags for parentry. Meron dati kasi mga PSB varieties. So, ang coverage po natin is it covers lahat po ng NSEC approved varieties or PSB varieties ng crops or fruits and plantation crops. So, this also includes yung coffee. Okay. So, ang objective natin, ensure that the plant nursery operators and their nurseries comply with the requirement and guidelines set by the BPI for the accreditation to produce quality planting materials. For the information of the group, ang BPI po ang naatasan or may mandate to do the accreditation and certification. So, wala na kong ibang government agency doing this regulatory function. So, BPI lang po yun. So, I hope na may mga participants from the group na meron na pong plant nurseries or magwe-venture po na mag-put up po ng nursery. So, sana po they will apply for this program. Later on, makikita siguro kung is this doable or not. Pero I think it is more doable than the last guidelines that were presented to you. So, meron po yung ating mga definitions of terms. Ang definitions of terms natin is, number one, of course, yung accreditation shall refers to the process by which BPI formally recognizes the competence, impartiality, and capability of the nursery operator to produce quality planting material. So, yun po yung term ng accreditation. So, yung applicant, of course, yung ating mga nursery operators. So, pwede hong individual, pwedeng partnership, pwedeng corporation, cooperative, association, organization, or government agency for accreditation. Then, certified mother trees, ito po yung part ng certification mamaya na i-discuss po ng pangalawang speaker natin. Pero this refers to mother trees that pass the certification. Ibig sabihin, kung certified po yung ating mother tree, ayan ay may tag po as certified. So, meron po nakakabit na plate tag po yan. Okay. So, manual of operations. Ito po, bago nating in-include doon sa documents to be submitted. Anyway, yung manual of operations, kung talagang may daily activities ang plant nursery, isusulat lang po niya step by step ng process. Example natin, yung coffee Arabica or coffee Robusta or Excelsa or yung apat natin na na varieties po. And Liberica, Excelsa. So, yung isusulat lang po yung step-by-step operation sa nursery. Kumbaga, dati alam natin yung mga propagator, alam na paano mag-propagate, pero ang kailangan lang pong isusulat sa isang manual of operations. Kasi napakahalaga po kasi yung record keeping ng nursery. Like for example, meron pong pupunta doon sa accredited nursery, may magtatanong, sir, meron ba kayong available na 10,000 certified seedlings ng Arabica or shall we say Excelsa? So doon pa lang sa record keeping, meron na kayong naka-record kung ilan yung available. Kaysa kung wala kayong record keeping, tatakbo pa kayo sa inyong nursery para bilangin yung available planting material na ipoprocure ng ating buyer. So yun yung mga ganong aspeto nakasulat lang po doon. Okay. So mother tree, ginawa nating general term lahat ng mga scion trees, foundation trees, yung clonal trees from clonal garden, o kaya yung seed garden na puno doon sa seed garden. So na generalize lang siya na mother tree. And then yung plant nursery evaluator, ito po. Dalawa po yung na-approve na plant nursery evaluators if you apply for plant nursery accreditation. So yung mag-evaluate po ng inyong nursery is either yung deputized plant nursery evaluators na nanggaling sa DA. And then meron po tayo yung designated plant nursery evaluators na nanggaling po sa BPI. So dalawa po yun. yung mag-evaluate either of the two or pwede magsama po yung dalawa. Then, yung plant nursery, of course, refers to the area where plants are propagated and grown to usable size. Then, quality planting materials, of course, yung refers to the planting materials that are true to type derived from asexual propagation or seedling coming from certified mother trees. Okay. And species, of course, ito yung refers to the set of biological organisms, members of which are of similar characteristics to each other and which can breed with one another. And then yung strain refers to a designated group of offspring that have descend from a modified plant or produced either by conventional breeding. And then, of course, yung variety. So, ito yung taxonomic category na ranks below species or subspecies. So, ito na po. Sino po yung pwede mag-apply ng plant nursery accreditation? Pwede po yung natural person o yung sole proprietorship. So, pwede rin po yung juridical person, partnership, cooperative, association, or corporation. And provided that the applicant accept government institutions. Ito po, yung government institutions po yan, siyempre yung ating DA, yung LGU or SUCs, have undergone training ang nursery establishment and operations. So, ganito pong pagkakataon, alam ko may mga pa-training po tayo sa mga PNOs, sa mga plant nursery evaluators, or even the plant material inspectors para yung ating implementation ay smooth at saka wala pong problema. Okay. So, ito po yung requirement sa private sector. Siguro po, sa JP, meron mga private sector natin dyan. Ano po?
Yes
So,
po, sir.
Opo. So, ito po yung ating mga documents na kailangan. Letter of intent. Ang ating po kasing programa is voluntary po, hindi mandatory ang ating batas. Kasi ho, di ba tayo sa atin is a free enterprise. Kahit sino po pwedeng magtayo ng nursery, pwedeng magbenta ng planting material, pero kung if they want that the government will intervene in assistance, kailangan po sila they will apply for government programs like for example itong accreditation natin. So kailangan meron tayong letter of intent, meron po tayong template diyan. So yung template na yon, ilalagay yung pangalan, yung nursery name and address, and then they will sign the applicant's form para po doon sa letter of intent. Then pangalawa po, yung duly accomplished application form. So sa inyo po Cavite, Batangas, Laguna, meron po tayong NSQCS sa Los Baños. Pero if they want, we can email yung ating application form. Okay. Then next is mayor's permit kasi private sila and they are doing business, meron dapat silang mayor's permit. Then pang-apat, yung BIR registration. Okay. So, meron doon kasi ho tayong mga partnership, corporation, cooperative, or association. Kasi marami po ang members po diyan, di ba sir, JP? So, kailangan meron notarized authorization kung sino ang mag-a-apply or magre-represent ng kanilang association, corporation, cooperative. Yan. Meron po dapat. Para hindi ho magiging problema kung sino talaga yung magre-represent ng mga asosasyon na yan. Then yung number 6 po, kung ito po ay sole proprietorship o solo niya o partnership, DTI lang po ang isasubmit. DTI registration. Pero kung cooperative po, CDA registration certificate po ang kasama sa document. And then kung ano naman po association, yung SEC or yung DOLE certificate of registration. So maliwanag po, hindi ko lahat isasubmit yung tatlo na yan. kung ano lang po ang applicable doon sa mag-a-apply. Then, Securities and Exchange Commission para doon sa partnership and corporation. And then, ito po yung napaka-importante kaya yung training po natin siguro certificate of completion, di ba sir, yung ibibigay nyo ngayong araw na to. So, eto makikita po natin na napakahalaga yung ating certificate of training. Okay, so yung certificate of training, pwedeng mga certificates galing sa mga training na kinakandak ng BPI or in coordination with ATI. So kung sole proprietorship or yung solo niya, pwedeng isang certificate of training. Pero pag association, corporation, or cooperative, dalawa po ang kinakailangan na certificate of training. Ngayon po, nagkakandak po tayo ng mga trainings sa mga PNOs. So, we can request kung may marami pong mga gusto dyan sa inyo, participants, we can propose training po para sa kanila. Para kung mag-apply sila ng Plant Nursery Accreditation, etong number 10, meron na po silang document. Then, yung layout map ng nursery, and then a payment of 1,000 pesos, yung application fee. Dati po kasi, kung iba-ibang crops po, sa dating guideline, iba-ibang crops, 1,000 pesos each. Pero kung like for example, lima yung crop, 5,000 yon. Pero ngayon po, binago natin yung bagong guideline. Kahit yung 5 crop or variety ay ina-apply for accreditation, as long as iisa lang yung application form, 1,000 lang po ang application fee. So hindi na po madadagdagan. Basta kung alam nyo maraming crops ang gusto nyo ipa-accredit doon sa inyong nursery, isama nyo na lahat po sa isang application form, 1,000 pesos lang po. Okay, sa government naman, alam ko yung CABSO is government, SUCs po kasi yan, di ba sir? And LGU, mag-a-apply din po ng Plant Nursery Accreditation. I have the time to talk with Dr. Miriam Baltasar kasi in fact, siya palagi yung speaker din namin during pa-trainings namin sa coffee. Then, nire-request ko na sana po yung inyong nursery sa CABSO ma-accredit din po. So, ito lang po ang kailangan natin if you want your nursery to be accredited. Letter of intent, fill up application form, the same doon sa private. Then, authorization of applicant. Mahalaga din po ito kasi may mga instances kasi na yung private nursery operator ay mag-establish sa loob ng SUCs o LGU. So, hindi po sila considered government, kundi private pa rin kasi nakikipagmuwa. Pero, kung talagang under ng government o SUC yung nursery, magsisik lang po ng authorization for yung president or kung sino po yung manager ng inyong nursery. Yun po. And then yung certificate of training. So, meron din po nakalagay po dito na dalawa. Then, layout map ng nursery and of course, yung 1,000 pesos na application po, application fee. So, nakalagay po dito kasi po ang DA and attached agency libre po. Wala pong accreditation na i-apply. Plant material certification lang po. Hindi ko mag-a-apply ang DA and attached agency ng plant nursery accreditation. So, maliwanag po yon. Okay, ito po yung technical requirements. Ayan. The nursery shall be established in operation at least 1 year prior to application. For sole proprietorship and partnership, meron lang po tayong, dati po, mataas po yung requirement. 100,000 pesos worth of 60% asexually propagated and 40% sexually propagated. So, napakahirap daw po na i-accomplish ito. So, ginawa po namin, kahit ano ho, minimum of 1,000 seedlings ready for grafting ng NSEC registered variety and 500 square meters, pwede na ho mag-apply ng plant nursery accreditation. So, ni-reduce po natin yun ha. Wala na yung 100,000 pesos worth of seedling during the inspection sa nursery. Ni-reduce lang po natin. 1,000 seedlings ready for grafting na lang, ready for planting na lang. And then sa juridical persons naman, like for example, yung corporation, association, and cooperative, 5,000, minimum of 5,000 seedlings ready for planting, and at least 1,000 square meters within the municipality or city. Sir JP, kung merong mga magko-comment or mag-question, pwede lang po silang magtanong po para ma-address po agad natin yung video.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So next po is yung government agencies naman. Yun, yung government agencies is yung LGU and SUCs, a minimum of 1,000 seedlings din po at a minimum of 500 square meters. Siguro po naiisip bakit kaya sa dati minimum of 1,000 square meters or yung worth 100,000. Kasi po during our review doon sa dating guideline, marami ko kasing mga maliliit na nursery na hindi ho makapasok doon sa requirement na yon. So kung babaan po natin, sabi natin sa kanila kung babaan, pwede din ba silang mag-apply for accreditation? So amenable po sila. And then yun po yung ating yung adhikain natin na hindi lang kasi sabi nila dati ang programa daw na accreditation is para sa mayayaman lang daw po na nursery operators. Pero sabi natin dapat pati din yung mga maliliit na plant nursery pwede po sila makapasok sa plant nursery accreditation. So ganun po yung ginawa natin. Then yung manual operations kailangan lang po na ma-submit din maipakita. During po sa application kasi, itong manual operations kasi alam po natin na meron silang trade secret para doon sa pag-produce ng seedlings, doon sa mixture ng kanilang media. Para po sa kanila yon, ito po ipapakita lang kung meron talagang day-to-day activities or manual operations. Hindi po ito isasubmit na kasama po sa document during application. Para lang po makita ng evaluator sa NSQCS na meron po silang existing na manual of operation. Okay, ito na po yung facility. Okay. Sa facility po kasi, di ba marami tayong nakikita nagbebenta sa gilid ng kalsada. So, hindi ho natin mako-consider yun na plant nursery. O kaya, ang tawag lang doon is display area or production area kasi ang plant nursery dapat composed of, eto lahat po yan. Dapat merong access of water, merong potting area, merong seedbed or germinating facility, storage facility para sa mga chemicals, para yung safety ng gumagamit or anybody from the nursery. Then propagating equipment, yung tools natin, yung mga budding knife, pruning shear, di ba yung mga ganon. Then composting facility, waste disposal facility, comfort room, and receiving area. Anyway, itong comfort room po, ang nursery naman within the vicinity of your house or your offices, pwede natin i-consider yun. Kasi dapat po meron comfort room na mapupuntahan ng ating mga visitors pag merong bumibili ng ating mga planting materials. And of course, siyempre, meron din tayong receiving area para dun sa ating mga bisita. So, ito po dapat dun sa application po na accreditation documents, naka-picture po lahat itong. Naka-picture po siya. Ano po? Kasi once na nag-evaluate yung PNE or yung plant nursery evaluator, makikita na niya mayroon yung pala naka-picture nandun sa nursery. Baka ho, yung mga picture na sinubmit nyo yung palang kapitbahay nyo na nursery at hindi kayo yon. So, kailangan during the time of application naka-picture po yan at titignan po ng PNE during the time of evaluation. Ito naman po sa mother trees naman. a mother tree label in each mother tree of NSEC approved. So, ngayon po, ang ating required lang po is 5 mother trees. Dati po kasi, minimum of 20. So, napakahirap ng mga nurseries na magtanim ng 20 na crop varieties kung ilan po yung in-apply niya for accreditation. So, kung 5 crop, so time is 5 yung 20, so 100. Pero ngayon po, ni-reduce natin ng at least 5 mother trees para doon sa sole proprietor o nag-iisang nursery operator or partnership and government institution. Pero doon po sa ating cooperative, association, and corporation, 20 mother trees ang dapat nakatanim doon. And dapat po isaalang-alang natin na NSEC approved varieties at certified na po siya, lalo na po yung mga bago. So since alam po naman natin na diyan sa CABSO meron na tayo po na tagan na registered parentry at kung yun ang gusto nilang i-produce, alam ko available na yung mga planting materials diyan. Pero sana po pakiusap natin na ipa-apply po ng certification yung mother trees and yung seedlings para po pag yun yung binili po na magve-venture ng nursery for accreditation, meron na po siyang certified seedling to be used as his or her mother trees. So maliwanag po itong statement na ito Sir JP sa mga ating participant. Later on siguro kung may itatanong sila, mag-ano lang po sila, mag-chat box and we can discuss further po. Okay, so ito po yung process na natin. Di ba sir, nabanggit ko kanina, dalawa yung ating deputized na plant nursery evaluator. Meron yung deputized under government, under DA, and meron designated under BPI. So, yung applicant shall submit the letter of intent, yung forms of application, and of course, yung appropriate fee sa nearest NSQCS sa region. So, for Region A po, Region 4A, sa Los Baños po ang merong NSQCS doon. Then, yung the NSQCS to receive the document, siya po yung mag-evaluate ng document na nabanggit ko kanina. So, pakiusap lang sa mga mag-evaluate, dapat hindi tanggapin yung application kung kulang-kulang po kasi once na tinanggap kasi yan, ang pakiwari ng mga nag-apply under process na po yung kanilang papel. So, that's the time na masabihan sila kung meron pa silang mga lacking na documents. And then since yung po kasi dati ang nag-evaluate under DA, so priority po natin na yung application ibibigay sa DA regulatory para sila po yung mag-a-assign ng PNE na to do the evaluation of the facility. So nakalagay po dito, DA regulatory official assign the PNE. Meron na po tayong mga list of deputized. So if we have time, we can submit this special orders po. Then yung deputized PNE shall inspect the nursery. Kung okay na po yung yung nabanggit ko kanina na facilities nandun na, at saka yung mother trees makita na merong minimum of 5, gagawa na po siya ng ng inspection report. At saka isa pa po dito, 'di ba? Doon sa document merong location map. Dapat yung sinubmit na location map is pareho doon sa makikita ng PNE during inspection. Yan. So, kung okay na po 'yan, yung po kasi yung document is since under ng DA regulatory i-endorse ng DA regulatory sa DA Regional Director and the Office of the DA Regional Director to submit to BPI Director for final evaluation. So kung titingnan natin, madali lang po yung process dahil basta sa document and then yung inspection sa nursery, nakikita niya yung mga facilities na nandun, madali na pong maigawa ng inspection report. And then i-endorse ng DA Regional Director to our BPI Director. Kasi po, ang ang BPI Director po ang magpipirma po yung Certificate of Accreditation. Yan. So, kung dito po sa Central Office, kami po, dito sa Central Office, na isubmit sa amin yung document at okay na po lahat, igagawa na po lahat agad ng Certificate of Accreditation. And then papipirmahin po sa ating director. Then we will send the certificate to NSQCS kasi po yung NSQCS region kung saan kayo nag-apply, sila mismo ang magbibigay sa nursery operator kasi doon po sa likod ng certificate meron yung terms and conditions na dapat kung accredited na po sila may mga alituntunin pa rin na susundin. Yeah. So, ito po yung ito po, yung ating kasing yung ating Certificate of Accreditation, yun po, may guidelines din po yun. Then, bibigyan po natin ang copy furnish, ang DA regulatory ng region. So, the same din yung binanggit ko kanina, yung mga plant nursery evaluators na designated, imbes po na DA regulatory PNE ang mag-evaluate po, meron po kasi tayo ding designated from the Bureau of Plant Industry. Kung hindi available yung ating DA deputized PNEs, pwede po ang mga designated from BPI para ho hindi ho magtatagal yung proseso ng inspection. So, o kaya pwede naman magsama yung DA deputized and then yung designated from BPI. Yan din po, pareho din po ang process po niyan. Okay. Tapos po yung the certificate shall be issued to the nursery operator. Ito na po yung sinabi ko kanina through the concerned BPI and SQCS region. A photocopied certificate of accreditation will be sent back to BPI and SQCS Central and provide a copy for the NSQCS region and the RFO regulatory. Kaya po bumabalik po sa atin kasi para po yung kopya namin, meron pong firma sa likod ng nursery operator na amenable siya doon sa mga terms and conditions na nakalagay doon. Okay. So yung sa accreditation po, ito na po, pag accredited na po sila, So, ito po yung ibang requirements. Kung magtatayo po ng additional nursery sa ibang province, panibagong accreditation po, i-apply po yun. Pero, kung nag-apply sila within the province, hindi na po sila subject to accreditation, ire-report lang po sa NSQCS. Okay. And then, yung pag yung nursery operator must inform NSQCS immediately if the nursery is relocated within the province. When outside the province, new application po ang kailangan. Okay. So ito po yung yung cooperative association is member participating in the production, dapat po matrain din po. Kasi po ang ating accreditation before is 3 years. Pero ngayon po ang ating accreditation duration is 5 years na po yan. Okay. So number 5, yung inventory, kailangan din po natin, kailangan mag-submit ang nursery operator. Kasi po, kuminsan po nanghihingi po ng DA sa BPI, sino yung mga accredited nursery na may available na planting materials ng ganitong crop. So sa amin po hinihingi. So nire-request po namin po accredited na po kayo, mag-submit ng quarterly report kung ano yung available. And then yung kung ang in-apply nyo ng accreditation yung coffee, Arabica, Excelsa o yung Liberica, kung merong additional ba na variety, strain o variety doon, hindi na yon i-apply for accreditation ulit. I-inform lang po ang NSQCS at gagawa po ng NSQCS ng bagong accreditation certificate, i-include lang po natin yung bagong variety or strain na idinagdag po sa nursery. Hindi na po kailangan i-apply uli ng accreditation. Pero po, pag change of management or ownership, kailangan po i-renew po yung accreditation kasi para po mailagay yung pangalan ng bagong nursery owner. Okay? So, yung signboard po naman, very important sa signboard kasi nakalagay doon kung kailan kayo accredited at saka kung ano po yung crop species or varieties na kayo in-apply po ng accreditation. Yan. So sa mother trees naman, ito yung mother trees naman kung meron kayong additional, mamaya i-discuss ito ng certification na hindi na i-apply for certification kundi idadagdag na lang as long as ipaalam lang sa NSQCS na magdadagdag kayo ng additional variety. So sa mother trees naman, should be maintained regularly in accordance with your manual of operations. So, ang nursery, very important din po ang nursery operator na i-inform ang NSQCS kung may mga namatay na mga mother trees, lalo po yung na-certified dahil kung hindi po kasi naka-declare yan, ang DA po kasi nanghihingi ng existing certified mother trees kasi kinocompute nila yung collectible kung ilan mapukuhang buto or sayon doon sa existing registered or certified mother trees. So, ano po yan? Kinocompute nila para ma-target ng DA kung ilan yung volume na ipoprocure ng DA. Okay. So, meron po tayong mga monitoring din na mangyayari once a year or as the need arises kasi lalo kung may mga nabagyong lugar at may mga nasirang mga puno, dapat may i-report sa NSQCS. Para po malaman kung ito ba kasi kukunin po yung tag kasi mahirap po na iiwan sa nursery operator, baka ililipat lang po yung plate tag sa ibang variety na once na nag-apply ng plant material certifications for seedlings, iba na po yung natatagan po. Yan. Okay. So meron po tanong si Ma'am Stephanie? Ito po yung sanction na nabanggit ko kanina. Yan. Meron po tayong sanction. Dati po wala. So una, yung falsification of certificate ng accreditation. Blacklisting po yun. O kaya yung authorized use of certificate. Baka meron pong napapagamit ng accreditation certificate. Bawal din po yun. Ngayon, yung non-display of permanent signboard, yung nabanggit ko kanina, may mga offenses pero yung una is i-reprimand lang. Then, pangalawa is suspension kung ayaw pa rin niyang gawin. And then, kung ayaw pa rin niyang gawin ang nabigyan natin ng ultimatum, ika-cancel po yung certificate. And then, yung refusal to allow the monitoring team. So, kasi nag-apply kayo ng accreditation, kailangan talagang i-monitor po ang inyong mga nurseries. Kung i-refuse po na pumasok po yung monitoring team, meron din po kaatibat na penalty. Okay, yung improper record keeping, yan. Kung sa record keeping mali-mali yung nilagay doon at wala naman sa nursery, meron ding offense po yun. At saka yung submission ng quarterly stock inventory. And then yung pang-pito po, ito po yung nabanggit ko kanina, na since doon sa certificate meron terms and conditions, by any violation, pwede rin siyang maging offense po yun. Although, mga superficial lang o mga hindi naman ganun grabeng mga offenses, pero still, bibigyan natin siya ng penalty kasi accredited na po siya. So, ina-expect ng mga bumibili na tama lahat po yung ginagawang daily operations doon sa accredited nursery. So, ito po yung yung sanction. Kung hindi man nakasulat doon, meron pa tayong mga ibang penalties doon sa Republic Act 7308. Pero kung nagkaroon po ng cancellation, binibigyan po naman natin ng leeway na after 3 years, pwede na sila uli mag-apply ng accreditation. So yung validity, 5 years na po. Yung nabanggit ko kanina, dati 3 years, ngayon po 5 years na po. Kaya maswerte po yung mga bago mag-a-apply kasi dati 3 years. Ngayon ko 5 years na po sila accredited. So, ito po yung renewal, the same din po yung requirement pero wala na po yung mga DTI, wala na yung SEC, wala na yung DOLE. Pero the same pa rin pong ibang requirement. And a minimum and a application fee of 1,000 pesos. Yan. So, renewal, ganun pa rin, inspection. Yan, yung inspection na gagawin pa rin. Okay. Then, ito na po yung repealing clause. So, meron tayong mga, doon sa mga, yung AO25 na nababanggit ko kanina, ito na po yung na-repeal para ito bago nating Department Circular number 1. Yan. Okay? So, yun na po yung ating proseso ng Plant Nursery Accreditation. Para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, bago lang po ito, effective lang po last May 1 ang ating bagong guideline dahil na-approve po ni Secretary last January na i-publish po sa 2 newspapers last April 18 and then effectivity po is May 1 po. So, ayan na po yung ating presentation on the Plant Nursery Accreditation Program po ng Bureau of Plant Industry. Thank you po. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir Danny. Now, stay put po muna kayo dyan. And now, everyone, let us move on to our second speaker. He is a graduate of BS Agriculture from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna. He presently works as an agriculturist too under the Plant Material Certification Section, National Seed Quality Control Services, Bureau of Plant and Industry. Participants, let us please welcome Mr. Earl Austin Arumin. Let us give him a round of virtual applause.
Hello po, good afternoon to everyone. So I will be presenting the guidelines on the plant material certification of plant. So this is under the Department Circular number 2, series of 2020. So kita po ba ng lahat ng ating presentation po?
Yes, sir.
Ayan. So this is the Department Circular number 2, series of 2020, which is entitled Revised General Guidelines for Certification of Mother Trees and Planting Materials of Fruits and Plantation Crops. Yeah. So the scope and coverage for this circular covers the certification of mother trees and propagated planting materials of registered National Seed Industry Council, including those of the defunct Philippine Seed Board. So only those that are registered under the NSIC, which was previously the Philippine Seed Board, can be certified. Non-certified varieties may not undergo certification. The objective for plant material certification is to ensure the varietal identity and purity of the mother trees and quality and traceability of the propagated planting materials. So certification is aimed on ensuring the varietal identity, that once you claim that a variety of cacao or this mother tree of cacao is a UF18, then once it undergoes certification, we ensure, we trace, and we that we trace the source of that particular mother tree, and if we see that it did came from a UF18 scion, then we certify it as a UF18 mother tree. The same goes for our our planting materials, which we have a process in which the collection of scions to the propagation until the planting material is ready to be sold, it all undergoes inspection and evaluation. So section 3, the definition of terms. So these are some of the terms that will be used throughout the department circular number 2. So first will be the accredited plant nursery, which was previously discussed by my senior, Sir Danilo Danug. So it is the plant nursery that passed the accreditation process of the BPI. And then for the certified mother tree and certified planting material, so these are mother trees or planting materials that have undergone the certification process of the NSQCS and is tagged. So the tag is a visual representation for the mother trees. This will be a plate tag, almost the same size as that of the plate tags on our cars, yung mga plaka po natin. And also for the certified planting materials, the tags are stickers that are individually attached to each and every planting material that undergoes and passes the certification process. For the definition of number 4, the foundation tree. So this is a certified mother tree that is obtained through asexual propagation from the parent tree as a source of propagules planted. So basically, this can be considered an F1. So the parent tree can be the original, the F0, and then the foundation tree are the trees whose scions were obtained from the original registered parent tree. So the mother tree, throughout the Department Circular number 2, is a general term for a tree or a plant that serves as a source of plant propagules. So the parent tree, so this is the mother tree or plant that has been surveyed, evaluated, and registered in accordance with the parameters approved by the NSIC. So the parent tree is the original tree that is registered and observed by the NSIC before it is tagged with a white plate tag, indicating it as a parent tree. So the planting material refers to either sexually or asexually propagated seedlings. The propagule in this department circular refers to anything or any part of the plant that can be used as a propagative material. This includes but not limited to seeds, stems, leaves, root bulbs, roots, bulbs, suckers, and the like. So dito rin, this also includes yung bud sticks and our scions. And then number 10, the tags. So these are the identifiable visual representation or proof that the trees or seedlings has undergone the certification process. So these tags usually contain various information that gives particularly includes the variety of the mother tree or of the seedlings that were tagged. And for the seedlings, this also includes the source or the nursery in which the planting material came from. The tags of the seedlings include such information so that it can easily be traced back to its source, which is an accredited nursery. So section 4, so who can apply for the certification of mother trees and planting materials? So first, the Department of Agriculture, particularly the RFOs, its centers, and station nurseries. So all of DA nurseries can apply for certification of mother trees or their planting materials. Second, state colleges and universities may also apply along with the local government units and other government agencies, which has nurseries of fruit and plantation crops. The third is for private individuals. This refers to sole proprietorship or nurseries that are owned by a single person. And then we have the fourth, the private groups, which includes cooperatives, associations, and corporations. So all of these may apply for the certification. However, there is a specific note, provided that except for the Department of Agriculture, the applicant must be an accredited plant nursery for certification of planting materials. So this means that if you are either a state college, a government unit, a private individual, or a private group, you have to first undergo accreditation of plant nursery before you are eligible to apply for your certification of your planting materials. So that is specifically for planting materials only. However, if you are applying for a certification of your mother trees, there is no need, or rather, we don't require you to actually be an accredited nursery in order to apply for mother tree certification. So section 5 enumerates the process in which both mother trees and sexually propagated seedlings are certified. So first, we will tackle the certification process of the mother trees. So the first step will be to submit the following documents at the nearest BPI NSQCS office. So first document that will be required is, of course, a filled out application form for mother trees. So you can obtain a copy of the application form from the BPI NSQCS offices, or you may request it through email through our plant material certification at gmail.com. And then the second document that we will be looking for is the proof of the varietal identification of mother trees being applied for certification. So there are a total of 5 documents that can be considered under the proof of varietal identification. So the first is the copy of the purchase receipt, where you have obtained the mother tree which you are applying for certification. Whether you have acquired it or whether you have purchased it from another nursery, if you have a copy of that purchase receipt, you can submit it to our office. If you don't have a copy of the purchase receipt, especially for mother trees whose age is longer than 5 years, wherein the receipt might have been erased or might have been lost, you may still ask for a certification from the source of planting material. So these certifications are basically statements that you or your nursery has acquired planting materials from their nursery, from where you bought it, during the past or in the last 5 years. So this is to ensure that we are able to trace where you have obtained your mother tree from. However, if you do not have the purchase receipt, or you cannot request for a certification from the source of planting material for whatever reason, you may also request an expert or knowledgeable person to visit your nursery and identify the varieties which are planted in your nursery. So say, for example, you have mango trees which you are not sure of its variety and you cannot trace where you have obtained them. You may request for someone who is knowledgeable in mango, in identifying the different varieties of mango, or or the like to visit your nursery and to be able to identify what variety you have in your nursery. So certifications from these people will be accepted by our office. The fourth option will be the DNA analysis. So this is the surefire way of identifying the variety of your mother trees in your nursery. However, it is important to note that DNA analysis may be limited by, of course, the identified markers of each variety, and also the the cost of DNA analysis, which is quite high. If all four of these are unavailable, we may still be able to certify your tree, your mother tree. However, we will depend it on the result of the evaluation of the varietal characteristics based on NSIC parameters for one fruiting season. Basically, we will collect samples of the fruits of your mother trees and compare its parameters, compare its sweetness, compare its length, width, height to the recorded NSIC passport data for that particular variety. This is to ensure that the variety you are claiming for is the variety that you really have. So that is the second. Any of these five may be submitted as the proof of varietal identity. You don't have to submit all five, you can just submit any of the five. The third document that we will be looking for mother trees is the location map and layout of trees that is being applied for certification. So the layout map basically should be able to show where the tree is generally located at. It doesn't have to be on a scaled map, no? Pwede pong drawing lang to. You can just draw the layout map. What's important is the proximity. So if you say that you have a mango tree beside or near your house, when the inspectors comes to your nursery, they should be able to see or they should be able to locate that mother tree which is nearby your house. Or if you say that you have trees lined up right near the road, it should be easily identifiable once the inspector goes to your nursery. And then lastly, the copy of the receipt of payment of application fee. So the application fee for the certification, for plant material certification, is 50 pesos per application. So regardless of the number of crops that you are applying, whether it's only one crop, whether it's 5 crops, the application fee will still be 50 pesos. Once all 4 documents are submitted, so the application form, the proof of varietal identity, the location map, and the copy of the receipt, our regional NSPCS satellite shall evaluate your documents if it is complete, and will endorse the said documents to our office in the NSPCS central office here in Quezon City, wherein we will subject it to further evaluation. The plant material inspector shall inspect the mother tree. So after the documents are evaluated, the PMI or the plant material inspector, which either comes from the DA, Department of Agriculture, who are deputized to be plant material inspectors, or those coming from the NSQCS, who are designated as plant material inspectors, will visit your nursery to inspect the mother tree and determine its general condition, varietal identity, correctness of location map and layout, and also conduct geotagging of these trees. After which, the BPI NSPCS Central Office shall undertake the final evaluation of the application, along with the report generated by the PMI upon visiting your nursery. and endorse it to the BPI, to the director of the BPI for approval or disapproval of the certification. At this point, tags will be prepared by the NSQCS. So again, the tags for the mother trees are the size of the of the plates in our cars, or even slightly bigger. Um, and this will be ordered only with the order form with the applicant's consent and signature. So the order form basically states that the applicant is willing to pay for these number of tags and will tag them accordingly to the trees that passed certification. So this is actually something new for plant material certification of mother trees, because previously we did have problems wherein the applicant order applied too many trees. However, even though we have already ordered the tags, is he refused to take all of the tags and only took part of the tags that were initially printed for his nursery. So BPI NSQCS shall issue the certificate and corresponding tag to each individual tree that satisfies the requirements for certification. So a tree will be tagged either as a foundation or a scion tree. So again, the tagging is done individually per tree. So it isn't by row, it isn't tagged by group. It is tagged on a per tree basis. And then the PMI shall monitor the certified mother trees at least once a year or as the need arises. So the monitoring of the PMI is done in order to inventory the current number of certified trees in your nursery, and also to determine and check the health of these trees, if these are still viable as a source of scion, or if these trees have already been affected by systemic diseases wherein the tree will be ineligible as a source of planting materials or as a source of science. So after the mother trees, the next part is the certification process for asexually propagated planting materials. So these usually includes the various fruit trees, including lanzones, durian, and rambutan, and also even for coffee robusta, falls under asexually propagated seedlings. So applicants must submit the following documents to the nearest BPI NSQCS office. So again, the first thing that you have to submit is the application form for asexually propagated seedlings. The second document that we will be looking for is the plant nursery accreditation certificate. So again, it is a requirement for seedling certification that your nursery must be accredited for the particular crop that you are applying for certification. That is why we are looking for the plant nursery accreditation certificate, to make sure that you are accredited for the crop you are applying for. The third is the plant material certificate of the mother trees. This is to ensure that you have a source of scions, or you have a source of cuttings that is actually verified, inspected, verified, and monitored by the NSQCS. The fourth is the copy of the receipt of payment of application fee. Again, the application fee is worth 50 pesos, regardless of the number of crops that you are applying for. So the process goes after submitting the documents, the NSQCS Regional and Satellite Office will evaluate the submitted documents and check its completeness. Afterwards, a PMI will be assigned or will be designated to visit your nursery for this particular application. So on letter D, 1 month prior to the collection of propagules, the applicant shall notify the assigned PMI through the NSQCS regionals or satellite office of their intent to conduct the collection of propagules. Because the PMI will be is required to be present during various stages of your asexual propagation. So first will be during the collection of propagules. They are required to be there to ensure that the source of your propagules are from certified mother trees or those tagged certified mother trees. In case that, for example, you are outsourcing from other nurseries, the PMI from that area must also be present during the collection of the scions and will make a report on how many scions was actually collected on that nursery that will be passed on to the nursery who is buying it. After the collection of scion, the PMI will also be present during the asexual propagation of your uh, seedlings. So this is to ensure that only the scions that were collected from certified mother trees will be used for the propagation of certified seedlings. Again, scions collected from non-certified seedlings may not be used for propagation of certified seedlings. So next, asexually propagated seedlings will be monitored by the assigned PMI at least once prior to the final inspection or as the need arises. So basically, the PMI will visit at least once on your nursery, after propagation to make an inventory on how many seedlings have survived and how many seedlings died and how many seedlings are actually still need extra time in order to recover if they were damaged by any environmental factor. So the PMI will then make a report and corresponding tags will be prepared by the NSQCS upon submission of the order form with applicant's consent and signature. Tags shall be issued to the NSQCS by the NSQCS to the asexually propagated seedlings that have passed the final inspection. And certificate will be issued upon by the regional or satellite NSQCS office only upon request. So the tags once again are the PMI shall be present during the tagging of individual asexually propagated seedlings, and the fee for the tags shall be paid prior to tagging operations. So just to clarify, each seedling tag costs 1 peso and 20 centavos. So that's how much you will be paying. So just multiply that by the number of seedlings that you will be going to apply, and you can estimate on the total cost of your certification. And again, the PMI shall be present during the tagging of individually asexually propagated seedlings. And we do request that for nurseries applying for a seedling certification that you also assist out the PMI during their tagging operation so that a PMI may only tag as much seedlings as possible in one day. And if our operators or if our nursery operators want to hasten that, we do ask for their help by providing personnel to also assist out in the tagging operation. So moving on, we go to the asexually propagated seedlings. So the process is quite similar to that of the asexually propagated. So the documents are the same. Filled out application form this time for sexually propagated seedlings, the plant nursery accreditation certificate, the plant material certificate, and also the copy of the receipt of payment of fee. And then next, the documents will then be evaluated for approval, and then a PMI will be assigned to visit your nursery. Then once again, the PMI will have to do several inspections and several visits during this certification process. So the first is when you are going to harvest fruits from certified mother teas. The PMI should be present during that time. As the PMI should also be present during collect the collection of fruits, seed extraction, and also seed sowing. Again, in case the seeds will be outsourced from other nurseries, the presence of the assigned PMI covering the area is also necessary during the collection of fruits and seed extraction corresponding to the certificate, and the corresponding certification must be issued. This is to ensure that all seeds that will be outsourced and will be provided to the nurseries are all coming from certified trees. The applicant shall ensure that sown seeds are properly labeled and shall provide a layout of the PMI. In this case, if the nursery is also doing propagation for other seedlings that are not going to be applied for certification, it is a must that they provide a layout and also a label, a proper label on which seedlings or on which seedbeds are actually being applied for certification. This is to facilitate the monitoring and also inspection of our PMIs. Next, in the case the seeds were sown in a seed bed, the applied PMI must also be present during the transplanting of seedlings from the seed bed to each individual plastic bags. Sexually propagated seedlings shall be monitored by the PMI at least once prior to final inspection by the assigned PMI, after which corresponding tags will be prepared by the NSQCS upon submission of the order form with the applicant's consent and signature. The tags will be issued by the BPI NSQCS to the seedlings that have passed the final inspection, and certificate will only be issued by the regional or satellite NSQCS office upon request. So lastly, the PMI shall be present during the tagging of the individual seedlings. Again, the fee for the tag shall be paid prior to tagging operations. So if you will notice throughout the process of the certification of planting materials, the PMI has several visits or does several visits to your nursery on each stage of your propagation. So since this is a requirement that the PMI will be there on each stage, it is recommended that you always coordinate and you actually schedule up with the PMI or with the NSQCS so that proper scheduling and proper coordination will allow the PMI to be present and will also facilitate during your propagation of both asexually and sexually propagated seedlings. So section 6 discusses about monitoring. So the monitoring of certified trees shall be done at least once a year or as the need arises. So the phrase "as the need arises" is added so that if there are typhoons or if there are any other environmental factors that may cause damage to trees or death of trees, is that the PMI will be conducting monitoring on your nursery. So trees shall become ineligible for certification if found to be no longer fit as source of propagules. So The objective of the monitoring is to actually make an inventory of, again, of the total number of certified trees that you have in your nursery, and also to inspect that each of your tree are still good or are still fit as source of propagules. So this is to ensure that we are not actually propagating seedlings that are actually affected by systemic diseases also. So section 7 discusses about the fees. Payment of fees under this circular shall be made and based on the applicable guidelines on schedule of fees. So just to reiterate, the application fee for either plant material certification of mother trees or asexually propagated seedlings or sexually propagated seedlings is 50 pesos per application. Meanwhile, the fee for each plate tag, which will contain the label of the tree as well as its variety and attached individually to each tree, will be costing 100 pesos per plate tag. So that again, the size of the plate tag is around as big as that of those attached in our vehicles. For seedling tags, so the seedling tags are worth 1 peso and 20 centavo per seedling tag. And these are small stickers which contain various information such as the name of nursery, such as the name of the inspector, and also it has or it contains a QR code so that these seedling tags will not be easily faked or may not be easily uh, modified. So section 8 is the sanctions. So these are actually the sanctions. These three are actually the offenses and their corresponding penalties that will be incurred upon obtaining these offenses. So the first one is the transfer of tags. So the transfer of tags is mainly applied for mother trees, no? Since the tags of seedling for the seedlings are actually locked in place and will be teared if you try to move or if you try to transfer a seedling tag from one seedling to another. The tag will be broken or will be torn. So that's one of the safety measures of the seedling tags. Thus, the transfer of tags here mainly refers to the transfer of plate tags of our mother trees. So the penalties for transfer of tags is the cancellation of the plant material certification for mother trees and will result to blacklisting. So this is a very grave offense since if one transfers a plate tag of, say for example, a FRT 65 coffee, if you transfer it and accidentally, for example, accidentally transfers it to a non-FRT 65 variety, and you are going to collect science from that tree, then what you will be propagating is a different variety already. It's not FRT 65 already. Although the tag does say FRT 65, the moment that you move that tag to another tree, especially if that tree or that mother tree is not of the same variety, we are starting or we are producing a wrong type of variety. We are producing not quality seedlings anymore. We are spreading the wrong type or the wrong seedling. That's why it is a very grave offense to transfer the plate tag of a single mother tree. The plate tag of mother trees also contains a unique code for each tree so that it's something similar to the birth certificate of that tree. So the plate tag will be the identity or the ID of that tree forever, and as long as it is a viable source of our science, it the plate tag will still be there. You know? So it's the unique identity of that mother tree. The next offense is the failure to declare or inform NSQCS of dead mother trees. So first offense is a reprimand. Second offense is cancellation of the certificate. And third offense is blacklisting from the plant material certification program. So this is usually uh, this is more of an offense that only happens if uh, there is no usual monitoring, or if there is a huge number of certified trees that actually died, for example, due to a typhoon. You have to report that number of certified of dead trees to the NSQCS, since we have to also update our inventory of certified mother trees. The third offense is any violation of the terms and conditions stipulated at the back of the plant material certificate. Again, the first offense is a reprimand, second offense, cancellation of certificate, and the third offense is the blacklisting of the plant material certification. So the plant material certificate, or the certificate that will be provided to operators or to plant nursery operators who have passed or have certified mother trees, actually contains a variety of information, including but not limited to um, the number of mother trees per variety that was certified during that day, the date of issuance or the date in which these trees were actually certified or have passed the certification, and also the signature of the director of the Bureau of Plant Industry at this moment, George Y. Colastic. And at the back of the plant material certificate, there are several terms and conditions about keeping our mother trees healthy, keeping the area clean, and also has terms and conditions regarding the collection of scions or collection of propagative materials from those mother trees are should have the presence of the PMI. So these terms and conditions will be presented to you upon issuing you your certificates, and you actually have a space on that certificate in which you are able to sign, saying that you agree to these terms and conditions. That's why the third offense is any violation of the terms and conditions stipulated at the back of the plant material certificate. So Section 9 is basically the separability clause. So if any of the provisions of this circular is declared invalid or unconstitutional, and other provisions are not affected thereby, shall remain in full force and in effect. So in Section 10, this is a repealing clause. This department circular shall supersede Administrative Order Number 44, Series of 2000, and other issuances inconsistent herewith. So Administrative Number 44, Series of 2000 was actually our guideline before this department circular was crafted and signed by our secretary. So after 2 years of Administrative 44, we were able to update our guidelines, which is now the presentation that is being shown to you. Effectivity. This department circular shall take effect 15 days after the publication to 2 newspapers of general circulation. So this department circular number 2 was actually already effective since May 2020. So despite the COVID pandemic, This circular was published and has already taken effect last May 2020. And that will be all for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arumin, for your
Thank you.
talk. And again, to Mr. Danny Danug. See, guys, labels are indeed important. The process is more than just the submission of documents for accreditation and, as you can see, the certification of our nurseries. No? It's also a way of establishing trust to our coffee stakeholders that the planting materials they get from us are of good quality. So, for the meantime, you may type in that questions of yours in the chat box or in the comment section. While waiting and having our session break, allow us first to be out of the box for a while as we promote the second National Makapuno Summit, which would take place on November 26. Yes, that's tomorrow, until November 27. That's on Friday. Again, let us all watch this. Okay, going back to Coffee Nating Mahal, the stage is now open for questions. Okay, so we have collated some questions in advance. Here we go. The first question is from Miss Melinda Mondoniedo from BPI po. Sirs, she's asking, what are the most important consideration and requirements for nursery accreditation and certification? How long it will take before a nursery can be accredited? So again, sir, no, you have explained to us already this before, but again, no, just a wrap up, no, Sir Danny and Sir. Yes.
Yes, yes, good afternoon, Sir JP. So, yung tanong ni Ma'am is yung important consideration and requirements sa nursery accreditation. Siyempre, unang-una, yung intention ng nursery operator to apply for our program. Yun, ang consideration is, siyempre, meron siyang nursery na di ba nakalagay kanina na 1 year in operation bago siya mag-apply, and then ma-secure po yung mga documents na kailangan. Yung mga documents para once na makumpleto yung mga documents, ay i-receive po ng NSQCS at kung makita niya na okay na po yung mga documents, that's the time na ma-assign na po yung mga plant nursery evaluators to do the inspection sa nursery. So yung sinasabi po dyan na how long will it take the nursery to be accredited? As long po na kompleto yung documents, ipapasa na po sa next process which is inspection and evaluation of the nursery. At kung okay na po yung mga sinasabi natin facilities nandun, so igagawa na po yan ng inspection report. At isasubmit na po sa NSQCS at i-endorse naman po dito sa Manila para po ma-final po yung inspection. And then, kung okay na po lahat, walang naging problema, igagawa na po siya ng Certificate of Accreditation. With regards naman po sa certification, doon po sa mother trees, ganun din po kasi po ang bagong patakaran natin is certified na po yung mga mother trees kung nag-a-apply ng accreditation. So, yung mother tree certification is madali lang din po as long as lalo kung certified na yung kanilang mother trees. Yun nga lang po kung sa certification ng seedlings, meron pong mga, depende po sa crop, kung ilan po yung from the time na application up to the time na siguro na-discuss ni Sir R kanina, yung availability ng PMI during collection ng scion, during asexual propagation, and then there is a period of hardening bago, like for example sa coffee Arabica is 6 to 8 months daw, sabi pa nga even 1 year bago ma-harden, and then that's the time na igagawa yung final inspection report at magawa na rin po yung mga seedling tags. Ganun lang po yung proseso po natin. Sa accreditation po medyo madali-dali po. And then yung certification of mother trees. Pero yung seedling po medyo matagal kasi meron duration ng hardening ng mga crops kung ano yung kind of crop na dapat ipa-certify nila.
Thank you po, Sir Danny.
Yes,
salamat po sa simplification po sa ating concern ng ating participants. Ito, sir, yung second question natin, sir. You have mentioned this kanina, sir, yung mga fees
okay po.
regarding sa accreditation.
Yung magkano ang magiging gasto sa pagpapa-accredit ng nursery? Dati po, di ba, explanation ko doon application fee lang po na 1,000 pesos. Kahit ilang crop po ang nakalagay po doon, basta as long as magkakasama po sa isang application form, 1,000 pesos lang po. Hindi kagaya ng dati na pag 5 crop nung ina-apply, 1,000 each, so 5,000 po yun. Pero ngayon, isang application po is 1,000 pesos po.
Thank you, sir.
Opo.
Salamat po. I think we have a couple of more questions. Ayan, there you go. So another question is from Miss Barba. Sir, if you plant ABP accredited coffee planting materials, but your neighboring farms are planting wildlings, how will this affect your farm? What is the best thing to do?
Okay po, since sabi nga natin, tayo po free enterprise. Kahit sino po magpo-put up ng nursery, nagbebenta po unang-una po kasi yung ating batas hindi po mandatory kundi voluntary. So kung i-apply ka po ng BPI accredited, kumbaga meron kang certain benefits o kasi level up ka kasi accredited. Kasi kung meron proper info dissemination yung ating yung bakit tayo accredited, and then yung kabila natin wide links, parang proper info dissemination lang po na pag yung may tag o accredited at may tag yung kanilang mga planting materials ng coffee, sure yung variety, yung sinasabi natin quality planting materials as against doon sa mga nurseries na nagpo-produce ng seedlings. Kasi po, wala ho kasi tayong papel na yung police power. Wala po tayong police power kasi yun po yung batas natin. Kasi free enterprise nga daw po tayo. Pero kung meron po tayong proper info dissemination, kahit papano, mas ma-educate po yung mga bumibili na preferred nila yung mga certified planting materials from accredited plant nurseries. Hindi ho tayo kasi pwedeng manita po. Kanya lang info dissemination lang na dapat mas prepared nila yung certified kasi true to type of the variety at dumaan po sa proseso na hindi po kasi hindi naman po tayo magtatag ng mga wide links kasi alam natin na wide links kasi during the time of inspection malalaman kung wide links yan or yung ating proseso na from the time na collection of seeds from the certified mother trees up to the time of planting, meron po tayong mga plant material inspector na gumagabay po sa kanila.
Okay po. Thank you po, Sir Danny. And another one po from Mr. Tanutan from DA.
Okay
Sir,
po.
how to identify or characterize the different varieties of coffee, different Arabica cultivars, and clones of Robusta coffee? Kaya po
Okay
masagot
po.
ito?
Yung how to identify po, unang-una po, since we are talking about yung mga NSEC, siyempre, NSEC approved varieties muna natin yung preference po natin. Hindi po ba? Kasi yun po yung ating isa-certify. Ngayon po yung how to identify or characterize, usually, meron po kasing mga merong mga standards during the time na sila na-register. So, yung standards na yon, yun ang pwede nating gamitin para ma-identify natin kung ano yung characteristic when they were registered sa NSEC. Yun po yung pwede natin basehan. And another thing, siyempre hindi naman kami umiinom lang ng kape, hindi namin kilala yung mga varieties or mga puno. So, ang isa pang option po natin is nagre-request tayo ng mga experts to do the identification. Like for example, dyan sa inyo, alam ko maraming experts po dyan how to identify the varieties.
Yes, Sir Danny. Yeah, tawag kayo. Actually po, regarding on this question, no, ito po ay part ng aming webinar series. Ito po ay na-discuss na ni Dr. Miriam Baltazar.
Si Ma'am Miriam pala. Yes, oo.
Yes,
Ini-invite
indeed,
po natin siyang as speaker din sa aming mga trainings. Yan po ang role niya.
Yes, sir. Salamat po, Sir Danny. I believe our dear participants, this recording of Dr. Baltazar has been already uploaded sa aming YouTube channel para mapanood niyo po. And of course, this session.
JP, parang merong question sa chat yata.
Yes po, sir. Babasahin ko po. Salamat po, Sir Danny. Sir Danny, the question is from Miss Corazon Lauderes.
Apo?
Sa nursery, okay. Wala, hindi ko po
Sa nursery, establish yung facilities.
Okay.
Example, sa comfort room, CR, anong distance o layo pwede ilagay? Distance lang po ba? Siyempre po yung hindi naman question kung ano yung distance, basta accessible po. Ngayon, doon sa ating facilities, may nakalagay na dapat may CR magpupunta. Pero kung katabi naman po ng bahay yung CR, pwede na po naman ma-access yung CR doon. Wala pong nire-require na distance. Basta accessible po sa ating mga bisita kung meron tayong mga buyers sa ating mga nurseries.
Danny, maraming salamat po. Binasa niyo na po ang tanungan. Hindi ko kasi mabasa.
Yes, sir. Sige
okay.
po.
Ayun. So, I will just, Sir Danny, ask ko lang yung yung team namin dito if merong nagtanong sa ating Facebook.
Apo.
Of course, sa ating Zoom participants ngayon, you could still ask your question while we still have it.
Tsaka nandito pa po si Sir Earl para sagutin naman sa certification.
Apo. Yan. Sir Danny,
yes, sir?
according to the team, wala daw po tayong question from our Facebook participants.
Okay.
We will just inform them if ever there are follow-up questions directly to your office.
Yes po. Meron naman po kaming doon yung pinakita namin kanina yung contact numbers natin or even yung aming email.
Yes po, Sir Danny.
Yes, sir.
Sir Danny and Sir Carl. No?
Apo.
Okay. Salamat po. I guess that's it for our Q&A portion. It's time to award the certificate of appreciation to our resource speakers. Allow me first to read the content of this certificate. Yeah. The Cavite State University, through the National Coffee Research, Development and Extension Center, presents this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Danilo T. Danu for actively sharing his expertise as the research speaker during the 7th session of the Coffee Break webinar series entitled Time for Labels, Accreditation and Certification of Coffee Nurseries, held on November 25, 2020 via Zoom meeting. Signed, Engineer Jerry M. Castillo, NCRDEC Director, Dr. Ruel M. Moica, Vice President for Research and Extension, and Dr. Hernando D. Robles, our University President. Let's give him a round of virtual applause.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Earl po. Sir Earl? Okay. Okay. Hello, Sir Earl. Ito yung part 2 ng ating awarding. Okay. Again, a certificate of appreciation is also awarded to Mr. Earl Austin Arumin for actively sharing his expertise as the resource speaker during the 7th session of the Coffee Break webinar series entitled Time for Labels, Accreditation and Certification of Coffee Nurseries, held on November 25, 2020 via Zoom meeting. Signed, Engineer Jerry M. Castillo, NCRDEC Director, Dr. Ruel M. Moica, Vice President for Research and Extension, and Dr. Hernando D. Robles, our University President. Let's give it a round of applause. Salamat po. Salamat po, Sir Danny. Salamat po, Sir Earl. Hanggang sa muli po.
Thank you very much, Sir
Opo.
JP.
Salamat po, Sir Danny, on behalf of Sir Jerry po and buong team ng NCRDEC.
Yes po.
Again, tuloy-tuloy po tayo. As we get to the end of this session, spare us more time for some announcements.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir JP.
Salamat po. And again, if you are a local enterprise who offer coffee products, or if you happen to know one, we would be glad to feature you or them in the next sessions. Just contact us in either of the email addresses or through our Facebook page. And for the next session, coffee has been our daily dose of energy drink. But what does it do to our body? Well, our prescription is that learn with us on our 8th session entitled Mutual Understanding, How Coffee Affects Your Health. Join us, please. And now, it's judgment time. Flashed on your screens is the QR code for the evaluation of this session. We have also provided you the link in the chat box, I believe. Not yet? Okay, yeah, here you go. Thank you, Carl. So there's no pressure here. Please take note of that. If you cannot evaluate this time, feel free to message us through our email or Facebook Messenger so we can send you the link. Also, make sure to check your emails to see if you have received your Certificate of Participation. Upon the submission of the evaluation, you'll be receiving the certificate of participation, just like the one flashed on your screens. Allow me to read your certificates. The Cavite State University, through the National Coffee Research Development and Extension Center, presents this certificate of participation to your name for attending the 7th session of the Coffee Break webinar series entitled Time for Labels, Accreditation and Certification of Coffee Nurseries, held on November 25, 2020 via Zoom meeting. Signed, Engineer Jerry M. Castillo, our NCRDEC Director, Dr. Ruel M. Mojica, our VP for Research and Extension, and Dr. Hernando D. Robles, our University President. Thank you to everyone. Okay. I think the group is done with the evaluation. Yes? If not yet, that's fine. After we conclude this event, we are still online for some participants who are still accomplishing their evaluation form. To finally conclude this event, on behalf of the National Coffee Research Development and Extension Center, we would like to thank you for attending our 7th session. We are now signing off and hopefully see you when it's time for a check-up. Maraming salamat po and mabuhay kayo.